Welcome back to Talkin to Teachers, presented by CBA's Digital Network. My name is Nicholas Harari, and I'm here with Mr. Meehan. Mr. Meehan, it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Great to be with you, Nick.
And first off, would you mind telling us what your position is at CBA?
Sure. Last year, we opened the Office for Mission Integration at CBA. Many of the Christian Brothers schools in the East Coast and nationwide have had offices for mission for a long time. And what the Office for Mission does is I attempt to make sure that all of the constituents of CBA, whether it be parents, new educators, even our veteran educators, understand who LaSalle was, if you will, the mission of the Christian Brothers, their approach to education, their spirituality, their approach to the Catholic faith. I run programs for our parents, for our new teachers. I run a program for our whole staff 3 or 4 times a year to give us an opportunity to understand the tenets or the unique elements of how St. John Baptist de LaSalle wanted his students to be taught. So the Office of Mission ensures that what we would call there is continuity, a level understanding of LaSalle's approach to education in the school.
And then, as you can see, we are in a different room than we normally usually are in. Would you mind telling us a little bit about this room? Yeah,
we're super excited about this is the new Office of Mission and Ministry. It really is a campus ministry suite. I think it's the first time in CBA's history they have a whole room just dedicated to a space for the students to come, and we're sitting at the table now to prepare for retreats. We have a lot of upperclassmen, for example, helping to lead underclassmen retreats. They would come here, they'll meet to practice, to prepare for those retreats. Our service immersion trips, we have a group of guys currently as we talk in Montana at De La Salle Blackfeet. They'll come here for preparation meetings to share their experience after. You see the space behind us here. We did make it a comfortable space with couch and some comfortable chairs. As we continue to decorate the space, we're going to add one library stack or bookshelf of theological, philosophical, spiritual writing. We'll have Christian service opportunities posted. It's really just a warm space for guys to come in to talk faith formation, whether it's retreats, service, questions they might have, or assistance they need in placements for service, campus ministry. This will be a flourishing space. We're at a phase now of what we call a soft opening. Once we have it fully decorated, we'll have Father Gary bless it sometime in October. And it'll be a place for guys to stop by, freshmen through seniors, with any questions they have. If they're on their way to lunch and want to study for a few minutes in quiet, it's a space for that. So we're very excited about it.
Well, I mean, it looks pretty nice. I'm looking forward to being in here.
Good. I'm glad. Hope to see you.
Yeah. And my freshman year, going back onto the topic of teaching, my freshman year walking on campus, of course, you were the dean of students at that time.
Right.
I was a little afraid, just because I think that title,
sure,
and that, going to CBA, the discipline and staying on task and everything. But, now that I know you better, you're like the nicest guy.
Right.
Could you explain how it was being the dean of students and your transition to what you do now?
Sure. I think any Catholic educator, I think it's my 23rd year in Catholic education, and any Catholic educator learns quickly that when called upon, you fill voids. And when my wife and I moved back from living in Washington, D.C. and teaching at the Christian Brothers school in D.C., one of the core openings that was here at CBA was the Dean of Students or the Dean of Discipline. And it was my pleasure to fill that role for 5 years as I did. It's an extremely challenging job. And you mentioned, whether you're afraid or not afraid of the Dean of Students.
Yeah, of course.
Really, what I loved about the job was I tried to carry that job out in the LaSallian tradition, where the Dean of Students is not someone to be feared. You don't want your students to fear you. The Dean of Students hold the students accountable. But LaSalle would want any disciplinarian in a LaSallian institution to be someone not feared, but someone that the students don't want to disappoint. You set the tone for good character, for integrity, for what's expected. As a mentor, a big brother, or a parent would. You hold the students accountable as a parent would, but then you're also there to build them back up. So my time as Dean of Students, I really enjoyed. I can't lie, it's a very challenging job. I've been super impressed with how Mr. Vieta is doing to start off the year. He's doing a wonderful job. But I enjoyed it. But what I'm doing now, working the Office of Mission and helping with campus ministry, this is very much in tune with a lot of the things I did for 15 years at the Christian Brothers School in D.C. before I came back to New Jersey.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know if that were me in your position, it would definitely be tough for me. It doesn't seem like an easy job.
No, sometimes you have to make tough decisions.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And outside of CBA, we've been talking about your career, in teaching at CBA and at the Christian Brothers School in DC. What do you get involved in outside of school? Maybe hobbies or
Sure. I mean,
life?
I have from the time I was about 3, I've been playing golf. So that's a huge thing for me. As I work on getting rid of this excess weight I gained, I'll be getting back to playing a lot of golf. Golf's always been a passion for me, an opportunity to be outside, to be at peace. But today, the central focus of my life outside of school is my family, my children. My daughter Mary Claire is 9 going on 19, and my son Tommy is 4. Theoretically, he'll be CBA class of 37, so we'll be super proud of both of them. We spend a lot of time with them. They're both big athletes. Mary Claire runs track, plays golf, plays basketball. Tom's already running cross country, loves basketball and baseball. So we spend a lot of time with the family, and we spend a lot of time at our parish, St. Peter's in Point Pleasant. St. Peter's is where they go to school. So really it's family, watching them grow, introducing them to golf. And I'm blessed to just have a wonderful partner in my wife, who so many of you guys know from the history department here at CBA.
Yeah, it's awesome. And now we're going back onto the topic of teaching. What would you say is the most memorable / favorite moment of your teaching career at CBA?
Well, when it comes to literally classroom teaching, which I should say, I always consider myself first and foremost a teacher. I'm still teaching now. I have a section of junior theology this year. That you're actually in.
Yeah.
We're going to be focusing on the Old Testament. So first and foremost, I think my greatest experiences are especially in the area of theology, is watching students slowly answer the question, who is or what do we mean by God? While we can't fully answer that question, we can come to know more about God. And over my 23 years looking at the Christian Brothers, the students at the school in DC, and the students the last 7 years here at CBA, watching students develop a deeper understanding of how God really works, and rather than a man up in the clouds, but seeing God working through others, through love, through friendship, through gifts and talents. That's really been a paramount experience for me, is seeing students grow in faith. I think if you're pointing me to one particular thing that's been most memorable for me in my time at CBA, it was my years as Dean of Students, when the CBA graduates would come off the stage at graduation. I always tried to give every single one a hug. And in those hugs, there was a lot of fulfillment for me, and I was so proud, watching them come in at 14 or 15, some of them struggling, whether it be with discipline or academics, seeing them endure and grow, achieving that diploma. In those hugs, I felt a wonderful feeling of fulfillment and pride for the young men that they became, which is really the goal for every young man of the academy, is to enjoy the successes, but endure the challenges and become stronger.
Yeah. I mean, seems like you were able to build relations with, many guys at the academy.
I feel, Nicholas, I feel blessed. I've got a lot of imperfections and a lot of challenges, like we all do. But when it comes to relationship building, it's one of my favorite things to do. All my students always hear me say mankind is social by nature, that we need others to become ourselves. So I pride myself in my relationships with the students, trying to help them in any way I can to grow.
Yeah, I would agree. I think as well for students, it's important for students to build relations with their teachers as well. Because they can help you not only, with problems regarding class, but, even problems outside of school, maybe at home.
Right.
And it only makes you stronger as a person.
I'm glad to hear that you feel that way, because that's exactly what LaSalle hoped for, is that the teachers become mentors.
Yeah, awesome. And lastly, I want to end off with one piece of advice. What's one piece of advice you would give to the entirety of CBA if you had to say anything?
The one piece of advice I would give to all of you young men is look for God in all things. LaSalle reminds us to always remember we're in the holy presence of God. Look for God working in your best friend and the support that he gives you, your favorite mentor, your favorite teacher, your favorite coach, that uncle or aunt of yours who's a second parent. Look for God in their love. Look for God in their generosity. For in others, we find God working in a powerful way.
Very well spoken.
All right.
Well, Mr. Meehan, I want to thank you for being here today.
It's been a pleasure. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And that is all for now. We're signing off.